Welcome to the Diverse Minds podcast, where we give you the tips, tools and techniques you need to be a mentally healthy and inclusive leader. Each week, you'll hear about a variety of topics linked to mental health, well-being and diversity that will enhance both your professional practice and personal well-being. Welcome to the 31st episode of the Diverse Minds podcast. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how we can stay safe and connected during a period of social and physical distancing to protect ourselves and others from acquiring coronavirus or COVID-19. At the moment, there is no escape or let-up from this global pandemic, and so I felt it was right to dedicate and focus a show on this topic. This podcast takes information, tips, and resources from a recent blog post I wrote around the 5 ways of well-being and coronavirus. Everything is up in the air at the moment. People are dying. People are frightened. It feels like we don't know what's next as things are moving at such speed. There are health, economic and educational pressures all around us in the UK and more widely. In order to get through this, to where we need to be, we all need help and to understand how to manage and support our own mental health to be able to support others. As I say, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to replenish your cup, drink from it, and then be able to help other people. Most of us haven't seen anything like this in our lifetimes, and we all need to respond in some way. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you lots of resources around how you can still connect with people in a way that is safe for you and for others. And I'd also really like you to reach out to me if you need help at this time. I'm providing a number of free resources. You can sign up to my newsletter and you'll receive a free copy of the Mentally Healthy Leading Manager ebook. In it, there's a wealth of information about how to manage your well-being and that of your team, with checklists, resources and information that will help you now as well as for the future. Please also feel free to book a 30-minute call with me, and this again is absolutely free, to chat through any concerns you may have. Maybe there's something bothering you. If you want to pick my brains about a project that you might be working on in terms of mental health and inclusion, I'm absolutely here to help. I'm also going to be running a series of webinars on well-being, so if you'd like to know more about that, there is a link to a Google form that you can sign up to. So I can't say that I have any real solutions for every single situation, and I know that people are in very stressful situations right now, but something called the 5 Ways to Wellbeing springs to mind. And these were developed by the New Economics Foundation in 2009, with the underpinning concept being that well-being is comprised of 2 main elements: feeling good and functioning well. And in summary, the 5 ways to well-being are to connect with people, usually when we're not in a pandemic situation face-to-face, to keep active, to keep moving in a way that works for you, to keep learning something new in your personal or professional life, to give back, your words, your time or your presence, and to take notice of the small things around you and be grateful for them. But during a time of physical restriction and social distancing, how can we do this? Ideally, as I mentioned, we do need to connect face-to-face, but this absolutely isn't the right thing to do. And it's vital that we all stay home in this moment because it will save lives. In one of my blogs, The 4 Ways Love Can Improve Mental Health, I talk about how love, aka connection, fuels mental well-being because social relationships are critical to our well-being and sense of self. Persistent loneliness has the equivalent effect of smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So here are my ideas about how we can connect during this time. The first thing is to schedule times to speak to people over the phone to keep in touch. This sounds incredibly simple, but with the number of image and text messaging services, this often gets overlooked or forgotten. And I would say at this moment in time, the phone is our friend, so please don't be afraid to pick it up. And what's been nice is I have spoken to a lot of people that I don't usually speak to on a regular basis, so it has been a way of connecting. Video calling, and I can say for myself, I've been using video call extensively on desktop, on laptop, and on apps such as WhatsApp, Zoom, or Houseparty. I even hosted our local book group, even though most of us live within a few streets of each other, on Zoom, and it was much better than not having a meeting at all. Personally, I'm finding social media really useful, but there is a risk of overloading ourselves. So you might like to ring fence some time or have a set amount of time per day that you explore social media. But there have been some fantastic support groups. One is the Coronavirus Support Group for Workers. Another one is time in from time out, activities to do in isolation, and also the antiviral work for freelancers. Of course, there are many more out there, but these are 3 that I've been using and found really helpful. You might like to send a card to someone. That could be a handmade card, and this is a rarity now. So it's a lovely physical gesture to show someone that you care. But please do remember to seal envelopes with tape and not your saliva, and make sure you wash your hands when making or writing the cards and putting it in the envelope to reduce any potential transmission. Something you might have heard of in Italy is school children who can't go to school painting rainbows and placing them in their windows. And this has really spread joy. So when families were able, or we are still at the moment, able to go out for walks, they could see the rainbows that their friends had painted. And for a lot of children, it's very difficult to not see their friends, as you all know. And what about games or things that you don't play face-to-face? This could be done virtually, or it could be done face-to-face in your family environment. Things like Pictionary, Consequences, or charades. This helps us forget, be in the moment, and really connect and find that joy, even if it's just for an hour. The second element of keeping active. Well, we all have heard it many times that regular physical activity lowers the feelings of mild to moderate depression for many people. And this is across all age groups. Exercise is essential for our mind, body, and spirit and soul. It also reduces the likelihood of cognitive decline and enables us to engage socially as well. But when we are socially isolating or distancing ourselves, how can this be done? And I'm sure you've seen an amazing number of physical trainers, coaches, dancers, and celebrities putting on free classes. But there are a few other things that you can do as well. So one thing is to do some gentle exercises after you wake up, even if it's just some stretching or yoga or Pilates to wake your body up. Why not go back to the 90s when step aerobics was really popular and do some step-ups if you have some stairs with your favourite tunes on. You don't need to push it too much and you can just go up one stair, but it does make a difference and you can have a little fitness routine. Go for a walk at lunchtime or whichever time you choose, solo or with someone or with your family, keeping them close to you, but maintaining a minimum of 2 meters away from others. I did this afternoon. I had a brisk walk and it does really give you that extra energy. Have a look on Facebook and other social media platforms you might use, and also just the internet in general. Maybe your local dance studio is doing something, but a lot of dance classes and fitness classes are going online. Gyms are obviously closed, which is absolutely right, because unfortunately they are hotbeds of bacteria and carry viruses on surfaces in the humid environments. But I know a lot of gyms are moving all their classes online, so you might like to have a look at that. And Joe Wicks, aka The Body Coach, will be running online PE classes for kids from Monday, 23rd of March. So do check out his pages. And he also has a YouTube channel, which is super helpful with lots and lots of home workouts with little to no equipment for everyone. I subscribe to Movement for Modern Life, which is a yoga platform, and they have some great free yoga classes at the moment and a free trial for you to do at home. Cycling UK have put together a great guide, a Q&A about cycling during coronavirus and how to do this safely. It's also a webpage that's being updated regularly to ensure government recommendations are met. But essentially, if you are a cyclist and you want to go out on your own and to distance yourself from other people, then cycling is generally safe. Clearly, if you have any medical issues, you'll need to consult your medical practitioner and do have a look at the Q&A. The link to the blog is provided in the show notes. Why not take a ball to your local park with your family, but please keeping your distance from others and have a kickabout in the park. The NHS also has an online fitness studio and you can have a look at classes and things to do at home. And dance company Steezy have a great range of online hip-hop classes. So you get a 7-day free trial and then the rest of them you can decide to pay if that's appropriate for you, or they might be opening up their studio in a different way if you watch the space. The next thing links to mindfulness, so taking notice. Mindfulness is about being in the moment, not worrying about the future and not regretting the past. And it's very easy to stop noticing the world around us. And if we stop doing that, we're caught up in our own heads and thoughts, and we don't notice what's driving the way we're feeling. And when news of death, illness and pain are all around us in the media, it's very challenging to practice. But here are a few ideas that you might find useful. So the wonderful Action for Happiness have a great coping calendar. You can download this for free, and this has daily activities, small things to keep you grounded. Many of you will have heard me talk about this before, but a gratitude diary. Keep a diary or add to one regularly and to highlight what's going well. And at this moment, it could be that you found some toilet paper. In all honesty, it could be that someone gave you some toilet paper, that your neighbour smiled at you, that you received a leaflet through your door asking if you needed any help, that you had a really nice meal with your family, that your younger dependents learned something really important while you were either schooling them or they were attending virtual classes. So hold on to that. If you have houseplants, nourish them, watch them grow, blossom and change on a daily basis. Take some time to declutter, even if it's a pile of magazines that's been sitting in your coffee table and you no longer need them and you can recycle them. Take notice of how you're feeling, why you might be feeling that way, and write it down in a journal. Eat your meals in a considered way and really savour the moment and flavours that you experience. Read magazines and books that perhaps have been on your shelf that you've been meaning to read for a while and relax, knowing that some of the rush has been taken away. Make a playlist on your preferred music streaming channel and enjoy that, knowing that you have nowhere else to be for a particular moment. So I hope some of those things are useful to you. The next element is learning. So I know lots of you might be dreading having your children or your new pupils around you. And we also need to keep learning to stretch ourselves in order to reach our potential. Setting small goals in our personal or professional lives is linked to higher levels of well-being. So learning new skills, experiencing new things, and managing challenges, no matter how big or small, will make us feel better about ourselves. But I know for me, with theatres, museums, universities and art spaces closed, I am already struggling on day 5. However, there are lots of ideas for you and things that you can do. You can go on virtual tour with access to 500 museums and galleries around the world, and the web link to this is in the blog post I've shared in the show notes. Why not sign up for a course at a top higher education institution, doing it for free on a platform called Coursera? And I've completed a public health course on this a few years ago, and it was fascinating and something that I'd wanted to do for a really long time. There are also a number of creative courses online that you can take, and people running drawing courses, life drawing, so they're things that you can also get involved in. Why not finish a crossword or Sudoku that you may not have had time to do, or any other kind of puzzle? Learn a new language using BBC Languages, Duolingo, Rosetta Stone, or another platform that you like to use. There are also a wealth of professional courses that you can discover on Udemy. And it may not seem like it now, but get yourself ready for the promotion when the time is right using LinkedIn Learning. And I'm sure many of you will have access to your workplace learning platforms, online learning platforms. And perhaps now you might have a little bit of space to dedicate time to doing those online modules, whereas normally it's just busy, going from meeting to meeting. And then finally, it's about giving back. As humans, it's a vital part of our species to give back, whether that's our time, our words, or our presence. Now, clearly our presence won't be face-to-face in most circumstances, but we can still give our presence. When we take part in volunteering or random acts of kindness, it releases endorphins. We feel better, as do the recipients of kind acts, making the world a more positive place. So how can we give back right now? The first thing I would say is please heed other people and the government's advice and don't panic buy. Leave toilet roll, fresh produce and canned goods and cleaning products for others. If you do want to buy a few extra things, please, if you're able to, if you feel in a financial position to do so, donate those to food banks who are really struggling at this time. And if you feel financially able to donate money to crisis, shelter, the Big Issue has gone online as there are no Big Issue sellers at the moment, your local food bank, hospices, NHS funds and international charities like Médecins Sans Frontières or Doctors of the World, you will of course have your own charities that you support. Set up calls for isolated groups, and you might like to have a look at your Age UK website about how you could help them, because they do have volunteering schemes for people to do this. Join your local COVID-19 mutual aid group. Each area has a mutual aid group set up. There will be Facebook groups, WhatsApp messaging groups, and also if you type it into a search function, you should be able to find those. Support local businesses by buying vouchers online for future use if you can or feel able to. It's important that we do stay at home. However, if we buy vouchers to use in the future, we're staying at home and we're also supporting businesses now for us to have lovely times later. Check out Patreon, which is a website to support our artists, writers, crafters and musicians. Many artists who do work face-to-face have really struggled. I know many are running online courses and webinars. So is that something you could integrate into your, if you have younger dependents, learning program or platform? Pop a note through your neighbour's door if you can, if you can't find your COVID-19 mutual aid group, and ask if they need anything. These might seem like small things, but when people are isolated, they're incredibly big. And I would absolutely love to connect with you and support your well-being at this time. So if there's anything that you feel I could be doing or should be doing, please do not hesitate to get in contact with me and let me know. So, number 1, you can still connect in a virtual way and find ways to be social while staying at home and staying safe. There are ways you can keep active to maintain your mind and body. Use extra time you might have to learn something new, even if it's just a small thing. Savor small moments and make the most of them. And finally, remember others, as this is the only way we can get through this time, is by helping others. So I mentioned the Mentally Healthy Leading Manager ebook, but don't forget I also have a lot of resources in blog posts and other podcasts. If you want to speak with me, please do book a free 30-minute call. And this is your opportunity to pick my brains about something, if you've got a project happening, if you want to talk to me about something, if you want a mini coaching session. I absolutely want to help people. And I'll be issuing a link to the Google form in the show notes. You can have a look about free webinars that I'm going to be running for people to manage their mental health and well-being. So I hope these are really useful tips to you. I wish you all the very best. Please stay safe, stay home, stay strong, and reach out if you need me. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Diverse Minds podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you access your podcasts from. You can also connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Tune into next week's episode of the podcast, where I'll bring you more insights on mental health and inclusion. Bye for now.